Welcome back, dear viewers, to Incredible Spy Stories. When we last left our tale, Christopher Harmer of British intelligence had just encountered a woman who would either become Britain's greatest asset or its most catastrophic liability. Her name was Elvira Chaudoir, a Peruvian socialite with expensive tastes, even more expensive secrets, and a talent for deception that bordered on artistry. She had waltzed into British intelligence with an audacious offer to become a double agent, feeding lies to her Nazi handler while the Allies planned the greatest invasion in history. But could she be trusted? Harmer wasn't certain. They had already confirmed that the Germans held her in high regard, so she seemed perfectly situated to send the Nazis misinformation. And her handler, a lovesick Abwehr officer named Bibi, was utterly besotted, paying her a small fortune while she played him like a violin. They would test her to see how she performed. Yet something troubled Harmer. Elvira was reckless, extravagant, and far too comfortable operating without a leash. Still, Britain was desperate. British intelligence needed agents who could sell deception with absolute conviction. And Elvira, well, she was a natural. So, despite his reservations, Harmer recommended she proceed to the next phase, a full background investigation, before trusting her with their most important operations. What the Security Service watchers would discover, however, would shock even the most jaded spy masters in British intelligence. And it would force the 20 committee to answer an uncomfortable question. How far was Britain ready to go to win this war? The surveillance began in earnest. Harmer's watchers, a team of working-class professionals pulled from police backgrounds, settled in to document every aspect of Elvira's private life. What they witnessed first brought chuckles to the surveillance post.
Crikey! She's got another one! Bleeding hell! She's insatiable, that one.
Harmer's snagged a right corker here. She's brilliant. I know what she's about, and I'd still fall for her.
In your dreams, mate. You're not in her league. She's as good as that Popov chap in Lisbon, bedding all those jerrybirds.
The reports flew back, laced with locker room levity. Harmer chuckled, reading one of the reports. The surveillance continued. The watchers settled into their routine, notebooks ready. They had no idea of what they were about to witness. They watched as Elvira headed home with another conquest. This time, it was a woman. Monica Sheriff, beautiful, blonde, horse-mad socialite with Windsor ties and a laugh like breaking glass. Off they glided into the gloom, vanishing into Elvira's flat.
Hang on a tick. Bloody hell! She's with another bird!
Christ. She's one of those.
A lesbian! It's not cricket. It's just not done.
Write it up. Capital L, mind you. Capital bloody L.
Harmer was mortified, and with good reason. Things were different in 1940s Britain. Society was far less enlightened. Lesbian behavior was illegal, punishable by 2 years hard labor. But for British intelligence, the legal consequences paled beside a more immediate threat: blackmail. If her handler Bibi discovered this secret, he could force her to work as a triple agent. Everything she told them could be a lie. Harmer had no choice. The matter had to go before the 20 committee. Some argued in her favor. She could be exceptional at feeding misinformation to the Germans. Intercepts showed the Nazis trusted her completely. But louder voices drowned them out. Rejection brewed, fueled as much by prejudice as legitimate concern.
She is a liability.
Shelve the siren. I do not care to hear anything more about her sapphic sorties. We are here to fight a war, not listen to the prurient details of her and her playmates.
Just then, Harmer burst into the room with urgent news.
Gentlemen, stop! Before you make a decision you'll regret, I have intelligence from Lisbon that just arrived. And no, it's not about her love life. It's about her tradecraft. One of our assets intercepted an Abwehr memo, authentic German intelligence. They completely bought her misinformation. Her false coordinates sent an entire wolf pack hunting phantoms. As you know, U-boats have been decimating our convoy ships, strangling the supplies our troops desperately need. Bronx gave them false intelligence about where our next convoy was headed. Her false coordinates sent an entire wolf pack on a wild goose chase, while our ships sailed right through their patrol zone unmolested. By the time the Germans realized her intelligence was outdated, our convoy was safely through. They never suspected they'd been duped. Gentlemen, while you've been sitting here debating her bedroom habits, she saved a bloody convoy. Bronx delivers results. Real, operational, life-saving results. So here's my question for this committee. Will you make your decision based on what's best for God, King, and country? Or based on who she takes to bed?
Harmer's challenge hung in the air. Then John Cecil Masterman stood, chairman of the 20 committee, the man who controlled every double agent in Britain. An Oxford professor who'd become the architect of Allied deception. Whatever he decided in this moment would determine not just Elvira's fate, but the course of the war itself.
I've heard enough. Let me begin by saying that anyone here who is not willing to do whatever it takes and work with whomever we need to win this war can sod off now. The girl's got brass ones bigger than most of you in this room. She's a go. Codename Bronx. Everyone can leave now and get back to work. Harmer, you stay. Elvira lists Monica as the person to contact should anything happen to her. Obviously, this Monica woman is more than just a fling. You need to interview her. Make sure she doesn't know anything. Make sure Bronx can keep her mouth shut.
Yes, sir. This is standard procedure.
There is nothing standard about this, Harmer. Wives expect to be interviewed when their husbands are engaged in secret work. This woman will not expect it, and you cannot tell her the real reason why you are meeting with her. I don't want her to have a clue why you are really there. Is that understood?
Yes, sir. I understand now, sir.
Thus, the committee reached its decision. Elvira Chaudoir would stay. And Christopher Harmer, husband, civil servant, and devout believer in rules, would be sent to speak with a woman he could not question, about a subject he could not mention, for reasons he could not explain. British intelligence, you see, prides itself on preparation. Unfortunately, no one could have prepared Harmer for a nightclub in Chelsea. A blue door with no sign, and a conversation in which everything would be misunderstood. Join us next week for The Interview from Hell. Subscribe and watch poor Christopher Harmer receive an education unlike any other.